As we get closer to the release of Splatoon 3, I keep getting more and more ideas of what could be in this new game. We really haven't gotten that much information about this game since it was announced, which means as of right now, the possibilities are endless. And before we get tons of new information from Nintendo detailing everything being added into Splatoon 3, I want to go over some of my personal hopes for this game. Now I know most of these things probably won't be included, but I just think it's fun to speculate about all the things that could happen. I covered some of my thoughts on Splatoon 3 in a video I made over a year ago, but I've had lots of new ideas since then that I want to share with you all. Now let's get into the list. Number 1. New maps, weapons, specials, and more. This one is pretty obvious, and we've already seen lots of new stuff in the trailers so far. But as far as I'm concerned, the more the better. I want tons of new interesting maps and lots of exciting new weapons with awesome specials. One of the best ways to make this game feel fresh compared to Splatoon 2 is to add a lot of new content, and so far it seems like they're doing just that. The few new map designs we've seen so far look really great, and hopefully all the new maps will be as good as those ones. I think most of the best Splatoon maps use verticality in interesting ways, so hopefully that's continued in this game. We've seen cool new weapons like the bow, and hopefully there's even more new weapon designs. I can't wait to try out all the new unique and creative weapons, and then ultimately go back to using a splatter shot since that's what I'm used to. The specials look pretty great too. There's a giant bubbler and weird crab tank thing, and I just hope there's even more awesome specials like those ones. Another idea they could add is emotes, which could be fun, but I don't want there to be a million emotes like most other online multiplayer games. And hopefully they continue adding new content like Splatfests after the game is released like they did with Splatoon 2. And I would love to see more Nintendo themed Splatfests like the Mushroom vs. Star one. Number 2. Improved single player story. I really liked the story modes in Splatoon 1 and 2, but they definitely can get old after a while. Then the Octo expansion was released, which showed what a Splatoon story could really be. This world and all the characters in it have so much potential for great stories. We haven't seen much of the story mode in Splatoon 3, but what we have seen looks pretty good. My biggest hope is that it will somehow be even better than the Octo expansion, even though that honestly isn't likely. One big way they could improve the single player story is by having the main villain be someone other than DJ Octavio, since he's been the villain for the last 2 games. You seem to be working alongside the Salmonids this time around, so the most obvious choice for a new interesting villain is Mr. Grizz. Mr. Grizz ran a salmon egg collecting business in Splatoon 2, so I could easily see him being the main antagonist of this new story mode. And his mysterious statue resembles a bear, which ties in well to the mammal theme since last time I checked bears are mammals. It would be even cooler if you actually worked alongside DJ Octavio to take down someone else, but the small glimpses of the story we've seen so far seem like he'll probably be the big baddie once again, sadly. But as long as this new story mode is somewhere near the quality of Octo expansion, then I'll be satisfied. Number 3. New online modes. I love all the online modes available in Splatoon 2. Well, most of them, but there simply just aren't enough of them. Turf Wars are great, but get old fairly quickly, and there's only 4 ranked modes to play. If Splatoon 3 really wants to feel new and exciting, adding a lot more online game modes is the way to do it. Hopefully Salmon Run will either return or be replaced, keeping the co-op multiplayer experience available. New ranked game modes would be great too, maybe something like Capture the Flag or sport-themed games like soccer. And while I don't think a Battle Royale mode would work in Splatoon, there should be some bigger and smaller team battles, like an 8v8, 2v2, or even a 1v1 mode. I also think there should be some more modes in casual play that aren't ranked, so you can play something that isn't Turf War without worrying about losing your rank. Something like rollers only, or having your specials always charged could be pretty fun. Basically, I just want tons of new game modes to play to help keep the online feeling fresh. Number 4. More options for online play. I'm separating this one from the previous one because of how important I think it is. As fun as online play is in Splatoon, Nintendo made the strange decision to lock a lot of the content away from the player, so you can only play one ranked mode and one set of maps at a time. I really don't think this should carry over to Splatoon 3. Please let us choose from all the different ranked modes at all times, and add more maps into the rotation. I understand the idea behind having a map rotation, but 2 is just not enough for Turf War. Maybe you can have 2 unique maps for each different ranked mode at all times, but the Turf War map rotation should be increased to 4. And if we do get Salmon Run again or some other replacement, there shouldn't be any time restrictions at all. I understand that giving all these options to the players will result in everyone just playing Rainmaker all the time and no one playing Clam Blitz, but it's not very fun when you feel like playing Splatoon but have to wait a couple hours until the ranked mode you want to play is available. For me, being able to play any game mode at any time and having a bigger map rotation for Turf War would really help the replayability of this game. Number 5. Apartments. I think one of the biggest problems with the later hours of playing Splatoon is that you simply have way too much money. Once you buy all the weapons and clothing you want, you start building up an insane amount of cash without anything to spend it on. That's where apartments would come in, giving you your own customizable apartment in Splatsville, with lots of shops selling decorations. This would give you more things to spend your money on, as well as giving you a new place to hang out other than the main plaza. Ever since I saw the loading screen for Splatoon 1, I've dreamed of having my own apartment in Splatoon, and I think this new game would be the perfect time to finally add this feature. It doesn't have to be as complicated or in-depth as something like Animal Crossing, just some basic stuff like furniture, wall decorations, and choosing the wallpapers and flooring. This opens the doors wide for the possibilities of items you could buy, and it would be awesome to have a home base of sorts where you can keep all your gear and loadouts. And I wouldn't mind it getting a little bit more complicated, maybe adding some more apartments you can purchase, with the nicest one being insanely expensive so there's always something to work towards. And maybe you could share your apartment designs online so you can see what type of apartment your friends are living in. Honestly, I think this is pretty unlikely, but it would be so awesome to see. Number 6. More music options. Music is easily one of the very best parts of Splatoon, and I think Splatoon 3 should put a heavier emphasis on the music. Splatoon 2 had a really cool music player minigame, and I just want them to go even further with that idea in the next game. A concept I came up with is a new shop alongside the usual ones that sells music albums. I think each player should start out with the same basic songs in their online playlist, but you can go to this new store to buy new albums of music to add to your playlists. More and more music albums will unlock in the shop as you play, and you have total control over your playlists. So maybe you want to make a playlist that only plays during Turf Wars. You can select which songs to include and which songs to leave out. Then maybe make a playlist just for ranked mode full of more intense music. I just love the lore of the Splatoon universe with all the different music artists and album types, so I think the game design should highlight just how awesome the music in Splatoon is. One thing I've always wanted is to be able to play the songs from the single player story while playing online, so maybe you could also unlock the story mode music as you complete levels. Number 7. Quality of life updates. This one is lots of little mini hopes in one, basically a whole bunch of quality of life updates. The main one that is most obvious to anyone who's played a lot of Splatoon is a skip button for the announcements that play every time you boot up the game. The announcements are really fun and add some great world building sometimes, but after a couple dozen hours you just want to start playing. I'm totally okay with certain specific news items being unskippable, like when a new Splatfest or major update is revealed. But for the normal map rotation stuff, we really should be able to skip past it this time around. Another big one is being able to use the Splatnet app features in the actual game. The Splatnet app for phones has tons of useful stats and information that for some strange reason isn't in the game itself. If Nintendo wants to keep supporting the mobile app, that's fine, but all that information should really be accessible in Splatoon 3. More quality of life updates could include private lobbies having room codes instead of being based off your friend list, gear loadouts that don't require amiibo, a new training room, and I could keep going. Also, I would love to see another little minigame you can play while waiting to find players, like Squid Jump in the original Splatoon. Basically, I just hope that Splatoon 3 will be a smoother experience overall, with less frustrating little annoyances. Number 8. Photo mode and replay system. This probably could have been included in the quality of life section, but I think it's so important that I'm separating it. I don't know if I'm alone on this, but taking photos and screenshots is one of my favorite parts of any video game, and especially in Splatoon. Designing cool outfits and putting them together with the perfect weapon is so much fun, but it's currently a really limited photo mode. First off, you need to have an amiibo to use the photo mode, which is really dumb. And while the photo mode has some cool options, there's really only so much you can do after a while. A more in-depth photo mode with a free camera and way more poses and locations would be awesome, and please let me choose my Inkling's current ink color too. Similarly, I'd also love to see a full replay system for online battles, something like the ones in Smash Ultimate and Mario Kart 8. Sometimes I'll have insanely epic online matches that can't be captured using just the 30-second feature of the Switch. Private battles already have a really cool spectator mode, I just want that improved and applied to replays of matches across all different modes. Number 9. Split-screen multiplayer. Splatoon is a great online game, but when it comes to local multiplayer there isn't much you can do. The original Splatoon on Wii U had a 2-player balloon battle style arena that was pretty fun, but in Splatoon 3 I want a full local multiplayer mode with all the different game modes included. Imagine being able to play a 1v1 turf war match with both people playing on the same system. And why stop there when you can take the local multiplayer online and play split screen against online opponents like in Mario Kart 8. I get that being able to talk directly with the person in the same room as you would give you an unfair advantage, so maybe just limit split screen online play to unranked turf war or something. I also think it would be awesome if you could take on the story mode in split screen too, although that seems pretty unlikely. Adding more options for local play would be an awesome addition and would really help Splatoon expand from being a single player only experience to something that's more fun for lots of people in one room. Number 10. Interesting new characters. Another one of my favorite parts of Splatoon is all the amazing characters and their super cool designs. I love all the ocean-themed craziness of the citizens in Splatoon, and I hope Splatoon 3 will have plenty of great new characters like new shop owners and pop star idols. I think it would be cool if the idols of this game were male this time, since that would help make them feel a lot more unique compared to the Squid Sisters and Off the Hook. And it would also be really cool if one of the new idols was a robot or something. I would also love to get a DLC expansion after the game's release that involves the new idols like the Octo expansion did. And of course I don't want them to forget about all the amazing Splatoon characters we've gotten so far. I'd love to see someone like CQ return. I'm just greedy, so I want even more characters. One idea I had is an inkling rival character like the typical rivals in Pokemon. Someone who insults your freshness and levels up alongside you, and challenges you to battles every once in a while. Okay, now I'm speculating a little too much, so let's wrap this up. That was a lot of stuff. I don't expect all these things to actually be included in Splatoon 3. This was just my personal wish list of stuff I hope will be added into the game. Even if less than half of my hopes are added, I'm sure Splatoon 3 will still be amazing and I can't wait to play it sometime next year. But what about you? This topic has endless potential, so I want to hear all your great ideas in the comments below. One of the many things that is so incredible about Splatoon is its bright future of creativity. And that about wraps it up for this one. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see ya in the next one.